Huh?
You actually have an Insta?
I have it Insta, yeah.
Oh, surprising.
Yeah.
Hey, we're live now. No incriminating anything, guys.
Yeah. Let's go.
Let me share the YouTube link on the Ringside account. Put us in the chat.
Neem, type all that stuff into the chat again. Sorry.
Oh man, yeah, I've got it down though, so I wrote it down.
Hey, but I need to see it. I need to.
Yeah. No, I hear it.
My memory, bro.
I hear it. Okay. Bro, who's this? Who's this brother?
What happened?
Someone in the chat now. I don't know who that is.
It's no comments.
That's what I'm sad.
It's probably a Barcelona fan or some shit. I better start.
I'm sad. Oh man, we ain't got time for that shit, man.
All right, let's start. All right, everyone ready, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Ringside Fracas. We've got a full team today. We've got Samps, we've got Naeem, we've got Jide, we've got Leroy. Gentlemen, how are you guys doing?
Sweet.
Everyone's sweet.
Yeah.
Good, man.
So before we get into it, we just want to say Samps is really completing his movement into the PBC, his presidential status. He's now a full hillbilly, as you can see by the hairstyle. Those of you watching on YouTube,
Wait.
we just want to congratulate Samps on the hairstyle. He looks very, very good. I'm loving it still.
He's gone full wilder though. It's the glasses in the head.
Listen, he's gonna start knocking people out with one punch now. I'm telling you.
I can just imagine
That's what's next.
Hey!
Obviously, I don't want to give into any Afrocentric European standards. So I want to put my own them stuffs there.
Hey, PBC for real.
Out to the people, man.
Out to the people. Okay, cool. We've got quite a few things to talk about today. We've got both fight camps to cover. We've got a few, promoter-ish stuff going on that we want to quickly touch on as well, and a few other fights. But let's start with Fight Camp 1, which happened this past weekend. Did any of you guys manage to catch the fight?
Of course, man. Perfect. So, great value. Absolute great value.
Yeah, that was that sarcastic?
No. Jokes aside, I paid £1.99. Yeah, for that You Cool show, and it was great value.
Yeah,
I would be might have paid $7.50 for it. Not so sure.
Apparently, certain man were coughing on Eddie Hearn and that, so maybe that was worse than
anything. Hey, can we just say big up Chris Andre, man? Big up.
Yes,
my guy.
One of the best in the business. So, like,
facts. Big facts.
What I would say is, although we didn't get the quote unquote main event, I feel like the fight that replaced it, I watched it on replay, and that was a good fight.
It was a great fight.
The main event was good. Yeah.
I know Sam is coming here with his agenda, but I just want to.
I'm actually not. I'm going to say fights as the actual card. Yeah, taking the price point away, it was a good night of boxing. Obviously, you have to look at it this way. I go to small hall shows and I enjoy small hall shows. I don't have any issues against it whatsoever. I don't mind looking at people up and coming, mid level, so forth. And in terms of matchups, and in terms of two styles gelling, we had great fights. Though every one was enjoyable. You couldn't fault it. We were £1.99 to Zone subscription. Great value for Saturday night. Loved it.
Agreed.
So, what do you guys make of the first fight? Was it Yildirim versus Cullen? Because that took me by surprise in the end. But what do you guys make of that fight?
Yildirim is crap.
Do you think he didn't take the fight seriously though?
Yeah.
Because he looked like he just turned up to bowl.
Sorry, I didn't catch this fight. What was the outcome? What happened?
Yildirim lost.
Yildirim lost, you know.
Oh, he lost.
Yeah.
Lost.
He got flogged.
The finish.
What, knockout?
No,
fought, like,
this is
decision. He fought like he tried to be quote unquote economical. I don't know if that was the plan or he just couldn't land properly. Like it looked so bad. It looked as bad as it looked worse than in terms of like the tier, the opponent, the level of opponent is fine. Obviously, when he fought Canelo, he just froze and got beat up. But he was supposed to win this fight, or at least give himself a very good account. It looked so bad, so bad.
I think all respect to Cullen though, because he came out really aggressive. He came out really using his height and the jab very, very well. I felt like, so you know when someone's on a mission, he was snapping out the jab, really ramming it down his throat. So like, I feel like you got to give credit where credit's due. I feel like Cullen had an excellent game plan and he applied it and he really, really pushed himself and like, he deserved the win.
100%. And we have to remember as well, Yildirim basically got, not only did he get a big bank with Canelo, he also got the bonus package where Eddie said, yeah, we're going to put in a couple fight deals. Right now, Eddie wants to scratch his head thinking, mate, you was meant to win that and I was meant to push you onto another show. What's he going to do to him now? Put him on the next gen? Put him up against another next gen fighter? You can't, because you lost a fight that you was meant to win. That is peak.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what sort of level was Callum supposed to be at? Because coming from a world title fight to losing to like an ex, nobody's kind of mad.
You fought Chris Eubank on World Series and lost an entertaining fight, but got your necks absolutely spun in the end. Then you faced Canelo, arguably the pound for pound, current great and so forth. Then you went and lost to Cullen on a York show.
Well, let's put it in perspective. Cullen lost to Felix Cash and he drew to Zach Chelly.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's the level that Cullen's at. And then he just beat Yildirim.
And that's definitely not world stage.
Like Felix Cash.
Felix Cash is British level. Like,
he got stopped by Felix Cash. And Zach Chelly, I mean, Zach Chelly is a talent, but you can see what level he's not gonna go like to world level. You can see that straight away. And he drew with what's his name, Cullen. So I lose to him. That is absolutely appalling.
I agree with Adil's comment about Yildirim's. I don't think he's sorted from life from the Canelo payday, but he will never get a payday that big again, and probably never get that sort of payday in terms of accumulation in the rest of his fights. So he's probably just thinking, you know what, I've accomplished boxing. I've completed it. Do you know what I mean? So he just wasn't motivated for that fight. He just didn't look good at all.
I think, I honestly do feel like he just underestimated him. Like he assumed that we are levels apart and I'm just going to go in there. Because if you clock, I know people say it was a bit economical or whatever. I just felt like he thought, I'm just going to bang you out of there in one good fight. Yeah. And he would eventually land him. He basically walked in there thinking it was Canelo against him, in my opinion. And just obviously realized that there's levels between him and Canelo and not that much distance to him and Cullen. So he just didn't go the way he planned it to go.
So moving on to another fight that was on the card. Did you guys manage to catch the Billum Smith versus McCarthy fight?
Yeah.
So let me go to Naeem first. What was your thoughts on that fight?
It was a banger. It was a banger. It was so close the whole entire fight. Like you could score it for either fighter. It was literally at one round would go to each other fighter. I think I had it towards McCarthy by 1 round, or 2 rounds actually. But yeah, I had him up. I think one of the scorecards was like 116, something like that, wide to Billum Smith, and that you can't watch that fight and tell me that one fighter dominated the other. It was as close as it gets. Literally, they got tired after around like 9 rounds, but for the whole fight they were hitting each other, coming with shots. I think early on, Billum Smith ate some overhand right that rocked him from McCarthy, and like how he stayed on his feet, I don't know, but
yeah, he walked straight onto it. He walked straight onto it.
Ran into it even, like he just hit him, but he took it. He came back, and they were just so close each round. You could just give it either way. It was a good fight, especially to be before the main event, like a co-main event. This was a very good fight to watch. But these judgings, they just let down these big fights like 116. Where do you get that from? Anyone that watches that fight, they'll go, no fighter dominated. It could go either way. So I don't know why this.
You know when scorecards are mad, because I always feel like what can actually be done with these mad scorecards, but the way boxing is scored in general, although the scorecards are mad, we can agree a lot of these scorecards are crazy. If you can argue a round is close enough to be scored to the guy you score it to, you can technically have a wide fight that's close, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
You scored round by round, and let's say you're giving it to the same guy that's close round by round, you can
That
get
does
one.
make sense, yeah.
You know what I mean? So what can actually, I know this is a random question, I don't know if anyone, what can actually be done to fix it?
I understand that the judging is subjective to obviously viewpoints and that what you then class as what you like, because people have preferences, isn't it? Some people like in-house fighting, some people like the technical boxing, keeping it on in the jab and so forth, so forth. However, there's a list of rules that you're meant to and criteria that you're meant to score upon. So really and truly, as much as it is allowed to be subjective, it should the set of criteria and regulations that's put in place in terms of ring generalship and so forth should limit it where you shouldn't be getting judges where two judges are in line with each other. You got one widely away from the other two. That doesn't make sense to me. I can't fathom how you can come to that conclusion. If you are a judge, applying those rules and principles to a fight.
You shouldn't be getting 4 or 5 point swings either way. So one scoring it four rounds to one person, the other one scoring it 4 rounds to the other person. Like how? And you're watching the same fight. It shouldn't happen. I've always thought that the boxing's point system, scoring system, needs to be revamped, but I mean that's never going to happen, and that's another conversation. But yeah, it was a proper good fight, a close fight. I'm just more of a fan of McCarthy. I find Bill Smith quite stiff and quite rigid, and I just don't really enjoy watching him box. But yeah, I had it either McCarthy by 1 or a draw, and I'd love to see the rematch of that because I think I think the styles mesh together quite well.
I actually do feel like McCarthy, to a degree, lost that fight rather than like it was his fight to lose, if you get what I'm saying. After the first couple of rounds, he effectively started the fight really well. Got his right hand off Rott Smith. Had him going, had Smith missing widely and counteracting him and counter punching him and literally was fighting his fight. Then he kind of gassed out in the middle of it and just let it slip, if you get what I'm saying. And I feel like if I was McCarthy, I'd be kicking myself in the morning. Like, why did I do that? If you get what I'm saying, like that just shouldn't be taking place. If you get what I'm saying. And now he's put himself in a position where I don't actually think Smith takes a rematch personally.
Gide, who did you think won?
Yeah, no, I don't think Smith takes the rematch. I agree with Samson. I think it was a great fight. It was probably my favorite fight of the night. I can't lie. It was close. I think. See, with me, I could argue either way. Like I could score it. I could argue for either man personally, right? So I think that I think they need to rematch that. That rematch needs to happen. But
run that back here.
Yeah, like Samson said, I don't think Smith will take that. Why? Why should he? Do you get what I mean? Like at this level, it's winner takes all. Like with the Congo fight, when he last fought, my guy said, "Hey, last man standing, winner takes all." I'm not gonna try to go back and take a risky fight that I can probably lose when I could just get more money. Do you know what I mean? So, but if Eddie can convince them to run that back, that's what I would do. I think they need to run that back.
Definitely, it'd be entertaining fight. Let's move on to the main event of the night. So I actually did catch this fight. It was very interesting. I wasn't expecting. Obviously, going into this fight, there was a lot of conversation around Zhu Kan's his ring rust and the last time he fought, etc., etc. So I feel like it built for an interesting matchup. But he was still going in as the favorite. Am I correct? He was still the favorite to win that fight as the regular WBA champion.
Yeah.
And from my perspective, I just feel like he got flogged. I just feel like Lee Wood just absolutely just outclassed him and then knocked him out as well. He looked quite amateurish to me in there versus Wood. And it looked like whatever Wood wanted to do, he did, which is a massive problem. Let me pass it to you, Samps, President Samps. How did you see that fight going? And how did you? What was your thoughts on that?
So I was with the rest of the consensus essentially that Wood would eventually get outclassed. The volume would be too much for him, and the skill gap would be too much for him. However, it's boxing, isn't it? And it looks like, to be honest with you, when Wood came in there, from the onset of that first round bell going, it just seemed like he wasn't gonna be denied. He just came out firing, kept his jab popping off, was literally doing whatever he wanted to do. And I do suspect ring rust really did get to Zuchan quite heavily, and because that just wasn't who we've seen historically. You know what I'm saying? There was no volume, there was no output. So automatically it was like, what's happening here? But it doesn't matter. And on the night, it's who was the fight, and Wood went out there and did his thing. Like, you can only credit him. And sad to say it, man, but you know, boxer size Ben is slightly getting stars in his chest, isn't it?
I feel like I agree with you that Zuchan didn't look himself, but I feel like that was what Woods was doing. I feel like he fought such a brilliant fight. He completely neutralized him for me. Like, he showed that there are levels. I feel like Eddie Hearn is shameless with asking the WBA to elevate him to full champion. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. But that regular stuff, like, I just hate it so much.
I hate it so much.
Talking about
bare belts, man.
Ruin boxing, man.
Can't stand it.
The fight itself was a great fight.
Yeah.
That's one of the most polished displays I've seen from Woods. And I feel like he should take that into his next fight.
So yeah. I've got an important question. What credit does Ben Davidson get for that performance?
No, he's looking annoying, man. He's building a bit of steam, man. I can't.
He gets credit. He gets credit. Yeah, I hate on, like, we cuss Ben Davidson in it. We say he's a fanboy and whatnot, but you have to give him credit. He gets credit. And shall I tell you what I like about him? I like about him the same reason I like Shane McGuigan. Obviously, I'm not saying he's as good as Shane McGuigan, but I feel like he's a forward-thinking trainer. You know how, like, British trainers, like, we're used to having this rigid structure, fight a certain way, everyone fights a certain way, they don't take certain risks, do you know what I mean? They're not trying to be slick. They're not
fluid, slick.
It's just everyday fight behind the jab.
1-2, no effects.
Exactly. That's what, and we're so used to that. But Davidson, McGuigan, you can see these guys are actively trying to make these fighters fight, like, to add that fluidity to their style. So I have to give him credit, man. I'll give him a lot of credit for that.
It's not even just that. I've noticed as well, like, if we're gonna put a bit of a comparison, put them in the same box here, they both actually enable their fighters to fight to the best of their
ability. Yeah.
Not trying to coach one style and impose that on them and tell them to basically redesign the way that they operate historically and say, yeah, you come here, arms up, tuck up and punch away, and tuck up and punch away, and don't take a step back, you know. So, and I think that's really working. One thing I watched Ben Davison on commentate on the BT Sports. Can't remember which fight it was now. There was the Boys, isn't it? Yeah, the Boys fight. Yeah, and I was listening, thinking he's talking real spit here. Like, he's not like, he knows his stuff, and not only does he know his stuff, he's implemented a game plan that makes sense. So I can see how that would translate over to his fighters. So at that point, I remember saying in chat, okay, maybe we should be giving this guy a bit more ratings, because I don't know about his actual training methods and so forth, but he can definitely strategize, because you can see we can literally physically see it.
If there are two fighters that you want to, like, rate Ben Davidson's coaching skills, I'd say probably Lee Wood and Lee McGregor. They're two guys that, like, they're not the finished product like Josh Taylor, Billy Joe was, or Tyson Fury. They're guys that aren't at that world level yet. So it's up to, I think Lee McGregor's like the European champion now, and Lee Wood obviously just got he became British champion recently. Now he's becoming the WBA. So you rate them and rate his skills of what he does with them mainly, not like guys like Josh Taylor finished. So,
yeah, because even like Tyson Fury, like, it's hard to see additions on Fury because he's such an advanced level fighter.
Because he's already been doing it from the beginning.
Exactly. So it's easier to see Ben Davidson's additions on fighters like that aren't at that level yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, he's really built some momentum. Like, you know, Taylor's undisputed now. You know, he was with Fury during the first Wilder fight and the two other fights as well. And yeah, he's building quite a stable now. And He's with Haney now as well, right? I don't know. If that's,
in some sort of capacity, he's got Haney there.
Yeah, some sort of capacity. So he's building a lot of momentum.
This is how you build a resume, man. This is how you build a resume, because, boy, we can cuss him and say he's a beggar or whatever, but bro,
you can't fight the
you can't deny him. You know what I mean? If he's
everyone gets where they are with a bit of luck.
Yeah,
lucky he was friends with Tyson at the time, and that's what
Leroy don't rate him.
He's got it. No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying he got his foot in the door and well played. He's building off it. So like the thing is, I mean, like obviously, like Samson, if you're around boxing gyms around this area, you know a lot of trainers have a lot of animosity.
Oh, mention that guy's name if you like yourself.
You can't say that guy's name in certain gyms, otherwise it goes off.
You can't say it.
So yeah, it is what it is. But fair play to him, man. He's doing his thing.
You know, there's something controversial, yeah. You see, how we're talking about Ben, and basically he's always taking polished fighters and so forth, or the fighter was just that skilled, we knew this wasn't gonna make it. That's how I always felt about Virgil Hunter.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
No, come on. Shall I tell you what?
Do you want to dive in a bit into that?
I'll tell you why Virgil.
I
can't agree with that, because Virgil built Andre Ward from scratch, bro. That is.
And Virgil was I'm trying to save a broken fighter. So all the fighters he took, there was something wrong with them. They were broken in some way, even though they were talented. And you could see he was trying to see, like, let me get this talent out of them and fix what's broken.
What, none of them ever got fixed?
Yeah.
Mainly can't.
No, bro. Just for the work you done with Andre Ward, I'm sorry, I can't hate on him.
Yeah. Once you built a fighter from scratch, like
to what unbeaten at pro.
I agree with that, yeah. But then I also feel like if you took Ward and put him with any other trainer with Ward's own, he's a high operating like boxer. He's got high IQ.
But that's
he's got a lot of natural. He's got a lot. It comes like he was literally made to box. If you know what I'm saying. Like
that style, bro, man. Come on, that Ward didn't just magically develop that style. Like, let's be real.
He took a natural athlete with natural reflexes and stuff, but taught him the fundamentals.
Yeah.
You can't chat to him. You can't chat to him, obviously. Like, I don't think no one can chat to him.
Isn't that why?
It's just the fact that it's happened with anyone else.
Isn't that why Buatsi made the move? He wants to learn more about the fundamentals on the inside.
Yeah, but the problem is outside of Ward, take Ward aside, who else has he made successful?
But because he picks broken fighters, like they're actually like got problems.
So are we saying that Buatsi is the real acid test now then?
Yeah, no, 100%. He's definitely an acid test.
Shall I tell you who built someone from scratch that I can agree with you that's a bit like funny? Calzaghe's dad. Like,
okay.
Why?
Because Joe Calzaghe he's amazing, but bro, you can't say he's technically like he does certain things. He doesn't even throw punches correctly. Like, I just feel like Joe Calzaghe is just a cheat code as a fighter that he just got away with it personally.
The thing is,
and Calzaghe was flogging people that he wasn't supposed to flog as well. It's kind of
no one's going to be perfect, but Joe Calzaghe was an absolute madman.
He was a monster. Like, I'm not describing how sick he is, but I'm just saying, technically, if you see my man doesn't throw punches correctly,
doesn't punch properly. Yeah, it's true.
Neither does Fury.
Yeah, I was gonna say that as well. His punches look like Fury.
Yeah,
neither does Fury, neither does Wilder.
No,
even his Joe Joyce.
No, his one's worse because there's so many punches that he doesn't throw correctly. It's not just like one punch. He's just weird. Like he's Joe Calzaghe.
Maybe that's the formula.
But it worked. No, but it worked. It worked. It was so effective. That's what I'm saying. I'm not here to hate. Like, Joe Calzaghe is one of the greatest fighters that's ever come up from the British shores, and he's one of the greatest super middleweights ever. Like, I'll never ever chat shit about him. But I'm just saying, if you're gonna say there's a trainer who built someone from scratch, and you can see that his fighter has some sort of like technical flaws, I'd say him, because for a man that successful, he doesn't throw punches correctly.
Fair enough.
Cool. All right, cool. Let's take a trip to the American shores. There's been some conversation to the American side of things. There's been some conversation about, last week we spoke about how excited we were about Herring versus Stevenson being, I think they said that there's conversations or, contracts are being exchanged, progressed and whatever. And just this week, Herring quickly touched on the percentage split he's been offered, and I think it was by Top Rank, and 37%.
By the actual governing body.
Yeah. I'm not too sure. I didn't really think about it. Maybe it was the
governing body. They've said they've made a fighter mandate and said that they basically decided to split based on the commercial value of their previous purses.
37% to the champion is quite mad, but some people are saying there's an argument to it. I guess, you know, following a similar model that you brought up last week, Sans, about, you know, the fighters being driven by their commission, their market and commercial value. You know, Stevenson's a much bigger fighter than Herring. Is it fair that Herring is due 37% as the champion?
Absolutely not.
That is bullshit.
Absolutely
that is absolute bullshit. The whole point of being a champion. At the end of the day, the champion is a champion. You have the governing body has a split, like they usually have a split, like say 70-30 or whatever. If you don't like that split as the mandatory, don't exercise your mandatory. Go fight somebody else, bro. If you want that belt, you have to take what you're given in the split, because that's just the way it is. The champion takes what he's given, win it off him. Then
just make sure you win the fight.
Win the fight.
Yeah.
To do that, based on commercial, like I was saying before. So what? That means if AJ is a mandatory now, what? It's supposed to be 99-1 because of his previous commercial, blah 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 blah. It's not fair. Nah, Herring is getting absolutely shafted. That boxing stinks. It stinks. It's full of politics. It's full of bollocks. That should never happen in a million years. And it's a fucking disgrace. I can't lie to you.
For me, it just really, really devalues the point of being a champion in the first place. I might as well just not be a champion and just work on my marketability and my commercialism and all that nonsense.
I might as well go Instagram and do a Ryan Garcia.
Just do a Ryan Garcia, literally. In fact, Ryan Garcia doesn't have to fight Haney for that belt. Fuck your belt.
I was gonna say, you guys are saying it's like as if Tommy Fury isn't fighting on Jake Paul's undercard.
It's insane. It's insane. Sam, let me go to you. How do you feel about that?
You know what? Yeah,
the splits.
The other day, I was angry at a fight. I can't remember what fight it was, but about fights not being made. Yeah, and I was saying that governing bodies need to enforce fighters and just basically split on commercial value. The one I guess point I didn't consider was when it's a champion. Like prize boxing has always been about prize fighting. You win the prize and you should be worth the most commercial value. However, in today's market, we've got social media and so forth, so people can promote themselves and get to a higher platform than other fighters that are champions. We've seen many champions basically fly underneath the radar. Andre Ward, that we were discussing earlier, one of them, because he wasn't quite where he needed to be on the social status.
Even Usyk, incredible fighter.
Yeah. So because of this, that model that I propose doesn't work quite clearly. Where Stevenson's been offered 67%, that's flipping ridiculous. Like, what's the point of me going through all the gears and going through all the hoops and jumping through all? He went to fight Frampton in flipping Dubai, for God's sakes. I'm sure he didn't want to make that trip if he didn't need to. Do you know what I mean? But like, I understand that Stevenson is a bigger fighter, but he's not a household name at all. Neither are. So how you then decide to make it 67, 33%? You got to get the hell out of him, man. I'm the champion. Stop that shit. Make it just make a 60-40 split. I say they should simply introduce a top bracket of what can be attained by a higher earning commercial fighter. And that quite simply solves it. Because at the end of the day, we need the fight. So people going away doesn't solve the problem. We need fighters to fight. We need fighters to fight the best.
But this is what happens when the governing bodies don't have value anymore. They don't have control and they don't create structure. They've lost all credibility. Once that happens, this is what you get. You get promotional companies and you get individuals setting, okay, this is how the fight's going to be. I'm not saying, obviously, I'm not going to come out here and lie and say, throughout boxing history, people haven't done a lot of madness. Like, you can look at how Joe Lewis was out here paying 10% of his purse for the rest of his life just so he can fight for a belt. And obviously there's been stupid shit like that throughout. But you could always say it was coming down from champion to challenger. There should never be a precedent where a challenger is dictating terms to a champion. That should just never exist in any world. And I truly feel like all these governing bodies should be bought out. I need one rich motherfucker that just doesn't care and then just has so much money to waste to buy out all the main bodies and actually build some form of structure and say, this is how we're going to do it. If you don't like it, tough. And get the big promoters to buy in. Because if we don't get to grips with boxing now, there's just no point of it. As Chris Andre said, it's just showbiz. It's like, there's just no point. And it's getting to that stage. Like,
WWE.
Yeah, how can you give a champion 37? What's the point? As you said, I'm fighting a guy who's not even a household name. So what? I'm gonna get 300k. I'm gonna lose my belt for 200k. Thank you. Oh, wonderful. Thank you.
Probably got paid more for Hampton.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that is just ridiculous. And if I was him, I wouldn't take that. I would not take that. I'll tell the governing body, go put the proper splits on, or I'm not fighting him. Because that's what they should be doing. The governing body shouldn't be out here saying, "Oh yeah, that's fine." No.
But the joke is, because the governing body, he'll get stripped.
I was about to say that. Yeah, they'll just strip him.
He'll get stripped.
You have to remember, everyone has their own self-interest, and governing bodies, all they care about is sanctions. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
They're not incentivized enough to try and make some level of governance framework. If they were incentivized to look past just the financial rewards, it will be quite. I don't think it will be too difficult to put in place some sort of governance and framework to ensure that
it feels like they care more about the business than the actual.
Where I disagree with you is, I think that will never happen with the IBF. The IBF are patterned. That will never happen with the IBF. The IBF are on their job. They do their job. They force their mandatories. They make people fight their mandatories. The whole 10% thing is the 10 £10 rehydration clause thing about they don't like weight bullying. They don't mess around. IBF are a proper organization, man.
Yeah, they're the only one. They're the only one. WBA is just, they should just scrap it. It's just useless now. WBC is just as bad. It's just the IBF and sometimes the WBA are on point, but no. Sometimes they are, sometimes, but they don't fuck about as much as the WBC or the WBA. The WBC and WBA just do not care. They do what they want.
Mauricio, he doesn't care. He doesn't give a fuck.
Sad times, man. Sad times. But I do want to see that fight though, because I think that will be
a sick fight.
That's a Stevenson come out fight.
That's an acid test.
So what does this mean on Stevenson's side though? Because I saw a lot of people saying like, "Oh, does Stevenson actually want this fight?" But how much does he actually control in that regard?
But this is what happens when you're with a big, powerful promoter and you're a big star though. Like, I'm sure Top Ranks people are the people who are leveraging this like this. They're the ones who are putting pressure on what's this called?
The governing body.
Yeah, the governing body.
Yeah.
Also, because obviously, if Shakur is getting 67%, he's probably on a deal that says he's supposed to get X amount per fight. So when it comes to purse bids, it makes the purse bids so much cheaper. Because if then you've got him on the short end and he's got to get X amount of fights, so say he's got to get $1 million. If he's got to get $1 million and the purse bid and he's getting 60%, fine. But if he's got to get $1 million and he's getting 30%, that purse bid becomes a hell of a lot more expensive. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
So that's probably them like pushing that agenda, to be honest with you.
Isn't Shakur's manager Jay Prince?
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy's on it.
No. I don't even want to say that guy's name. I know I'm in England, but I love my life. I have a family.
Let's move on swiftly, boy. I don't try to mention that guy. But yeah, sticking to the Americans, I didn't even know this guy was fighting, but Michael Hunter. I don't know who he fought.
He's bottled it. I don't even want to give him.
I don't even want to give him.
I don't want to give him airtime.
He was supposed to fight Hrgovic.
Yeah, no one cares now, man. He's talking rubbish.
All he can do now is talk about other fighters. That's the only attention he gets now.
It's the same. It's the same old template, man. All these guys chat shit about AJ, you get attention. Don't fight him. Go on, go have your next fight. Hopefully, the people that heard AJ will watch your fight. It's the same old template. He tried to run it with his recent fight. Man is out here fighting on Tuesday night.
I
Like,
don't even know who he fought. Who did he fight?
I completely forgot.
Looking like one. I saw pictures like looking like one Viking brother.
bro,
I don't even know who he fought.
There's some guy called Mike Wilson, so I don't know who he is.
Mike, that sounds like a teacher, bro.
Hey, let's move on. I don't want to get time. What do you lot think of Fowler versus Smith? Because I have very strong feelings on it. Huh?
Fowler's getting smoked.
Bruv,
really?
I think Smith is going to absolutely batter him.
Yeah.
Batter him.
Think it's too early for Fowler, or is it just there's nothing you can do about it?
I think I'm gonna re-break my betting ban here, and and I'm gonna lump up on Smith on this.
If the odds are tasty, 100%. Because when I look at Fowler, like he was a good amateur, but when you fight with head guards and you're fighting with 12 ounces, it's like sparring. When you're sparring, you can walk through a lot of stuff, but when you're in an actual fight night with small gloves, that jab hurts. you can't keep walking. And Fowler's are very much like he's got a lot of bravado. He's got a lot of come forward. He gets hit a lot, but he's prepared to give to take one to give two. But you can't do that in the pros.
Well, Liam Smith is also vibes as well, though. Like,
but Liam
Smith is vibes.
No, but Liam, like in terms of the thing is, when you say like Fowler's actual skill level, in my opinion, is not that high, and he got through the amateurs on brute force and being like and volume, like Joe Joyce to a degree. But with Liam Smith's got a really nice tight guard. I know you say he's vibes, but he's got a really nice tight guard. He tucks up well. He covers himself well. And I think skill levels, I think they're worlds apart. I can't lie to you.
I've watched Fowler. He's such a, as Mayweather calls it, up and down fighter, no special effects guy. Like,
that's such a rude description. Now, go on.
Like, I don't see anything about Fowler that makes him special. I don't see him doing anything past European level, as far as I'm concerned.
But
so you guys giving him absolutely no chance for Smith?
No. What makes him competitive is at 154, he's big for that weight.
Yeah,
he's a big boy for that weight.
But that's his whole career though. Bullying basically.
Because he was 160 amateur, wasn't he? Was he middleweight?
Yeah.
But that's what you got to do though. When you go pros, you have to be a weight bully.
Spurs did the same thing.
Yeah. Even Porter was a middleweight as an amateur, wasn't he?
Was he a middleweight? I think he was even heavy. That Porter fought Usyk.
He did, and he won as well.
That was a young Usyk though. I think he was middleweight. I don't
Usyk, it was about middleweight. But Usyk was small and then he just grew in it. So, but I think Smith is going to smoke him. I can't lie. Even though Smith is obviously he's to the tail end of his career, he's come off the loss.
In the decline.
I mean, I would have put him past him stopping him.
I'm gonna put money on that still. Yeah,
I said Fowler versus Charlo. You want him to die?
Oh, come on. Man just wants.
He just wants to die. That's just.
It's not even about that. You know, Charlo hasn't stopped anyone in a while. He just wants.
Quick stoppage
to get a good stoppage. I hear it, man. I see it.
Maybe he's the president of the PBC. That's crazy.
Real split, man. That might be Samson's burner. Yeah,
burner. I'm telling you.
If you watch Fowler's last fight, it was a bit bland in the sense that he got the knockout, but it was like one paced. You couldn't get out like first.
No levels.
Who's this coach? McGuigan, in it? You had to shout him like to stick on him when he had Muller hurt because he wasn't doing it himself. You don't have that like killer instinct in him to like when you had someone hurt to like go in and start putting on him. So it's gonna be long.
The rounds. He claimed he wanted the rounds that he let the fight go on a bit because he hasn't had the rounds.
I hate when fighters say that.
I've watched a lot of his fights. It is a bit one paced.
The same. It's all the same.
I hate when fighters
he loads up on every single one. He loads up on everything. He loads up on his jab. He loads up on his right hands. He never changes the pace on anything, and he just tries to strong arm everyone basically.
Yeah.
I don't see. He doesn't even try to like counter punch or anything like that. He just walks forward and eats shots and tries to throw a strong jab and strong like 1-2 behind it.
No head movement.
Yeah. Very robotic.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good event for Liverpool, isn't it? So
I think that'll be huge. Yeah.
It's going to be a good fight. If you're looking for blood and guts, that's what you have to tune in.
I'm definitely tuning to that, man. It's intriguing, isn't it? Because hopefully he'll start begging it in people's comments when he loses.
So, you know what I said? I think I said after that. 15 minutes after he's won his fight, he's gone straight.
Bro, he's AJ's comments straight. You got this, bro.
No way.
Beast.
His
Gorilla emojis.
fights are unturned. I looked on Ben Whitaker's thing. He had keep a chill before the fight was even done. I couldn't believe it.
Hey, speaking of that though, we need to talk about Whitaker, man. What have you not made of him in the Olympics?
Well, he got bronze, isn't it?
He got silver.
Silver, bro.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
I'm thinking of Cuban in the final.
He's so good. He's too good.
That was cold.
He's too good.
You know what's scary about him?
Angles.
He was quite lazy. He had a lazy style, but he was super efficient and like.
Yeah, but that guy's already a pro, though, isn't he?
No, he's not a pro. He's like a season.
He had pro fights.
No, the guy was the former Olympic champion, so this is his second.
Yeah, and was an Olympic champion. Like heavyweight.
No, 75.
Okay. No, but yeah, like Whitaker, like we were saying in the group chat, he needs to find some meanness in him. I feel like he's another one that is currently being taught by that old school British coach mentality to.
No, I disagree.
Nah,
that's rubbish.
I think so, man.
Whitaker has rhythm and
Whitaker should have bit down on his gum shield and went to work, bro.
I think he knew he wasn't winning, and he was. I don't think he wanted to engage with him.
He didn't want to get hurt. You need to take risks. This is your one moment. This is it.
So for me, Whitaker has a style that, I mean, even though the amateur rules have changed, it suits amateur because he doesn't get hit much. He's good on his feet. He's tall for his weight, so he's really good at controlling range. So a perfect example of how he controls range was against the Brazilian, the other tall guy. That was literally a masterclass in controlling range between both of them. Both of them are very, very, very good. And that was, when you just fight on the edge, they're both on the edge of distance, and it was literally, it was inches in it. And it was such a good fight.
It was a pot shooting contest.
Yeah, it was literally a pot shooting contest, but it was a superb fight. But the thing is, he has to learn, like if he's going to go in the pros, I need to see it. I haven't seen him hold his feet because you can't just do that because someone will just cut the ring off, walk you down and go to work on you. And then it's long. And I need to see him not just hold his feet in terms of hold his feet and stop moving, but sit down on his shots and actually hurt somebody. Because a lot of those shots are scoring shots, but they're not doing anything to anybody in the pros. You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Daniel Yulusinov. He reminds me exactly of Daniel Yulusinov because Daniel Yulusinov, as an amateur, was unreal. Unfucking real. But when he got to the pros, he struggled because he didn't sit down on his shots and he didn't hold his feet. So he really struggled to turn over. For someone who was such a good amateur, because Daniel Yulusinov was an amazing amateur, he didn't look good. He didn't look like shit in the pros. So I worry that Ben Whitaker will be like that when he turns over, and I hope that he's got something in his arsenal that we haven't seen. But on talent, on slick ability, on good footwork, on ring generalship, on reactions, on speed, he's got everything. But if you can't hold your feet and you can't sit on your shots and hurt people, it's a problem.
Do you think, though, at the same time, don't get me wrong, I rate him highly. I think he's really good. And he was definitely one of the people who was all touting prior to Olympics. But do you think he's a bit of an athleticism merchant? Yeah.
But that's fine if you can bang. But we haven't seen him bang yet.
Like, I want to know that I'm almost wanting to see. I want to see his fundamentals. If you get what I'm saying.
But don't you think that's like an amateur thing though? Like
you're allowed to get away with a lot more.
Yeah, a lot of amateur guys is like they don't really sit on their punch, they arm punch some of the guys. You know what I mean? Like even the biggest punches we have in the game right now, when they were amateurs, they weren't really like killing people.
Okay, but a lot of the time you could see the ones who transition well. So, for example, watch Buatsi in the last Olympics. You knew it.
Oh my god, you knew
he was running through people. You know who Ben Whitaker fought? That Russian. That Russian is going to bang out in post.
Yeah. Remember I said this is Berbatov's is his twin.
What's Beterbiev? It's his mini Beterbiev.
I saw his fight, and I said, "Oh my god, I'm scared for Ben."
But that guy is going to bang out in pros just because you can see the way they approach things. But it's just that some fighters can change and learn their style and sit down, but I haven't seen that he has the ability to. So, for example, you look at that Keyshawn, that Keyshawn will be absolutely fine in pros. Even though he was moving, he was light on his feet, you can see he's got the ability to sit down when he wants to.
Who's Curry?
I have not seen that at all from Whitaker whatsoever.
Yeah,
that's fair. Hopefully he does better. Hopefully he does well. The guy I'm impressed with is your fire.
Yeah, he's quietly doing his thing. Quietly been doing his thing. I watched him this morning.
I love his style, man. Like I love the way he just tucks in, slips, and then throws bombs. Like I love it. That's the guy I'm looking out for, man.
But obviously, let's not take away from anything. What he's done amazing.
Oh, yeah, no. Listen, a silver medal. I know a lot of guys are like, no, silver's losing gold and whatnot.
Oh, shut up, man. To even get there.
You know what I mean? Like, to get the Olympics and to be number 1 and number 2 in your weight class is amazing. Like, not many people can even do that. So, bro, he should be proud of himself, man. And it just solidifies that he's an exquisite, top quality talent. So you shouldn't be.
Man said exquisite. That's crazy.
No, bro, I can't lie, man. The guy's athleticism's out of this world.
He looked proper upset as well that he got the silver.
Yeah, no. You want that though. You want.
Yeah, of course. That's what I'm saying. Same as Shakur Stevenson as well. When he lost.
Yeah. No crying though. I know these guys.
Yeah, no crying.
No crying though. But yeah, no, you want that because listen, as a pro, I want this guy to go far. Like we've got for a small country and like the UK, we've actually recently had like a renaissance. We've developed so many good fighters. I just don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I saw someone say like apparently GB got the most medals in boxing.
Yeah, but you know how well looked after them guys are, and that program is unbelievable.
Yeah,
I can imagine so, but
they get paid good money.
They're the retainer and everything.
Yeah, they train.
So wait, the lottery gives them money like that.
Yeah,
well, they get rough. Well, some of them get like 50 pounds a year tax free.
Okay.
Plus expenses.
Okay, that's good. You know.
Oh, they're getting looked after. They're honestly, it's a nice program, bro. It's a nice program.
Oh, that's okay.
All right, let's wrap it up with the next fight camp. So we've got who's mainline? Who's mainlining that? Is that Galahad versus Dickens? Well, how do you guys feel about that fight?
I don't care.
Is that also 750 again? Yeah, what we get to meet. Eddie Hearn again and touch his shoulder.
And he can spot Tony Bellew.
Hey, we need to get Lewis in there because I know Lewis is going to take his shoes off so he can feel the grass under his feet.
When we should have got him the tickets to the last one to take.
Listen, I ain't get onto that guy. I've got PTSD, but yeah, man. Listen, that cooking sesh.
Don't worry, man.
I'll be back. Don't worry. I need to heal. I need to heal from that.
Lewis buried Dapper in the group chat, man.
But yeah, we've got Galahad Dickens. Who's on the undercard?
I don't even know.
I
hasn't really piqued my interest. I'll probably.
I think the Alan Babbage guy's on it. I remember that's it.
Babbage. You're always talking, man. Who's he fighting?
I won't lie. His press conferences are funny because obviously English is not his first language. Yeah,
all he can do is just swear in it. There's nothing funny. He just swears.
Just swearing. It's like, oh, this guy.
I want to see him get win a few more fights, like fight Chisora or something. Just like someone that he just bang out.
Babbage will never be world level, in my
opinion. Oh yeah, no way, no.
But that doesn't mean he's not gonna be
entertaining. Yeah.
He's an exciting heavyweight, very exciting. Yeah.
Also, the Fabio Wardley guy's fighting as well.
Oh, shame. I didn't know that.
He's fighting the guy that's been in a bit of a run now. I can't remember his name. That's it. That's an interesting one, but I still expect Wardley to win. How do you guys feel about that fight?
As long as he's not trying to be pretend he's Roy Jones Jr. and David Haye.
Like he did versus my man on the Dylan White card.
Yeah. As long as he's stop doing that. And actually develop his fundamentals, I'll be happy with him.
That's it. It's pretty. There's nothing
that's
else.
Pretty much it.
That's pretty much it.
Boxing this weekend is not great.
It's worth £2 a month, but yeah, not £7.50.
Yeah, that's the only bill on my thing. When it comes out, I just shrug my shoulders. It's like £2 to zone. I'm like,
Certain people are valuing 750 tickets because you get to eat unlimited pizza, and burgers, and copper
Getting you
burgers.
fat.
Get to stroke Eddie Hearn's carpet.
I'm dead.
To be fair, you know what they say that couple people out here spending bare piece to go to these private members clubs and whatnot to meet these sort of people. So if you want a job at Matchroom to work with and all these man, then boy, you might want to be at Eddie Hearn's house, helping to clean his house and shit. Clean up I'll clean up the show after the show. I'll do it. Don't worry, Eddie.
I guess some people want to meet Coogan as well, and they want to go rubby shows as well. Anything affiliated with Matchroom.
That Coogan guy kills me, man. But yeah, I guess we can wrap things up. If there's nothing else anyone wants to talk about, it's a slow week coming up, so I think maybe next week it's a good week to do that thing that we wanted to do, like where boxing got mad political and stuff.
Well, why it got political?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think we said we were going to do like a history lesson or something.
Okay, yeah.
Someone said something in a group chat because it's going to be a slow weekend, I think.
Yeah,
I fell asleep in history, so I'll just listen to you, man.
Yeah. Listen, don't worry, man. I'm ready for that shit.
It's going to take you.
It is from 1947. This is this is his bag, bro.
This is his bag.
Anything before like 2001, I don't care about. So, yeah.
But yeah, man, let's wrap it up. Thanks everyone for listening. Don't forget to use hashtag Ringside Fracas when you're tweeting us and discussing our topics. Please leave us reviews on Spotify, Apple Music, and all streaming services that we upload on. 5 stars only. I hope you guys enjoyed. Gentlemen, thank you so much. And yeah, peace.
Peace out.